This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The government is fulfilling its commitment of making the Bahamas self-sufficient in food production. Officials of the Bahamas Marine and Science Institute and the Ocean University of the People's Republic of China today signed a cooperation of agreements at the Office of the Prime Minister. The move is designed to foster academic linkages that students and faculty from both institutions can benefit from. And this is only the beginning of what Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie believes will start a fruitful partnership as a delegation from BAMSI is expected to visit Ocean University in November.
I'm very excited about what has transpired. I'm really looking forward to this strategic partnership between BAMSI and Ocean University. I believe that the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding will further strengthen BAMSI and in so doing have a ripple effect on the work and program of the Institute and what it will mean to food production and the sustainability of our marine products, both of which are so important as the Bahamas seeks to become food sufficient through the exploitation of its resources, which we have in abundance.
The Ocean University team visited BAMSI's North and Central Andros campus this week to explore the island's ecosystems. Ocean University's president and vice president thanked the government for the opportunity to partner with BAMSI and applauded officials for the work that they've done so far.
Our university enjoyed the strengths in oceanography, in fishery science, food science, and marine life science. We rank quite at the top among the counterpart universities in the world. We are so delighted to find that BAMSI share quite a lot of commonalities with our university, which will lay a good foundation for our future collaboration.
It's not unusual to see the Deputy Prime Minister greeting students in the classroom.
Earlier today, he conducted official business at the Bay Street Straw Market, and Jimenita Swain was there.
Students taking part in a summer camp hosted by the Straw Market Authority were excited to be greeted by a special guest, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis, Thursday afternoon. Mr. Davis, whose ministerial portfolio comprises the Straw Market, visited the camp and was pleased with what he saw.
I commend the chairman of the Straw Market Authority, who recognized that there are a number of straw vendors here who have little children and grandchildren who they are the custodian of and caregivers to, and they needed to have some help and relief. And this is our way of demonstrating our belief in our young people, our belief that we need to identify things that are positive.
Straw Market Authority Chairman Kevin Simmons said 20 to 30 students attended the camp and the objective was keeping them busy. However, he said the intention is to extend the program for the continued benefit of vendors through Urban Renewal 2.0.
We're happy that the minister has endorsed this program and the minister is prepared to ensure that this program becomes an after-school program. Again, we must ensure that children have wholesome activity to do after school other than watch TV or play the internet. If you would note, there's no child around here on the internet and there's no television. So they're doing wholesome activities, coloring book, the basics.
At the forefront of teaching the students were sisters Donica and Doranda Walker. The College of the Bahamas biochemistry students thoroughly enjoyed the camp.
They would reenact skits like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. They love that. We would do coloring, we would do painting, we do arts and craft. They would do math and English, and especially I remember a student in particular, Dwayne Ferguson. He would enjoy reading to the classroom, even though it was a bit challenging at times because the kids are so active and so young. I found activities that they would enjoy. I allowed them from the first day to determine what activities they like to do.
Before leaving the market, the Deputy Prime Minister toured the proposed surveillance and first aid units to be commissioned in a matter of weeks. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
In just under 2 years left to go before thousands of Bahamians head to the polls for the 2017 general elections, today more than 40 Family Island administrators who will serve as revised officers in the elections received some training and information on the requirements for voter registration, which takes effect on October 1st.
LaDawn Davis tonight reports from the Melia Nassau Beach Resort.
Statistics from the Parliamentary Registration Department revealed that there are at least 176,000 voters on the register. In 2012, there were 72,128 registered voters, a net gain of 4,000 over a 3-year period. Parliamentary Commissioner Sherlyn Hall says a new voter register must be created and prepared before an election takes place. He says that's why training for all island administrators is so important.
The protocol is that we prepare for a new register every 5 years. And that must be done 18 months before the House of Assembly term expires. So we have to put our house in order. That's why we can start in October. And persons who are coming to register for the first time ought to bring their passport or their birth certificate. They are legal requirements in accordance with the Parliamentary Elections Act. So once we have those, we will create a new register. The voters card will change. The color of the voters card will change. And we will create a new register which will run concurrently along with the 2012 register until the Boundaries Commission meet.
But to decrease the number of fraudulent documents, Hall says they are doing all they can to improve the voting process.
We have experienced a few false documents because birth certificates, we have a link with the Registrar General's office, and we could confirm the legitimacy of a birth certificate. And we also creating a link with the Passport Department as well as the Department of Immigration. So where we are suspicious, we will liaise with them to confirm the truthfulness of documents.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, who has responsibility for elections, expressed confidence in the more than 40 island administrators and encouraged them to continue to be keepers of democracy.
You all will form the core of perhaps the most important people in public service over the course of the next 24 months as we seek to preserve the democracy, to ensure that it remains free and uncontaminated, to ensure that our citizens, and only our citizens, have the ability to participate in what is one of the most important governmental responsibilities, and that is of providing for free and fair elections.
While voter registration for the 2017 general elections begin on October 1st, the training and information seminar for island administrators ends on Friday. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The International Monetary Fund warned that worsened current account deficit and low international reserves would challenge the Bahamas' further economic recovery, even though the country's economic activities have been strengthened. The IMF, though, lauded the efforts in consolidating fiscal position with the successful implementation of value-added tax. However, the IMF claims this, along with lower oil prices and a capital inflow management policy, did not improve the current account deficit and international reserves. Despite the U.S. recovery and an imminent opening of some tourist resorts, the IMF predicted that the Bahamas' growth will remain well below pre-global crisis levels and advised that, quote, strong and timely measures, and, quote, to strengthen competitiveness and raise potential growth. And in other business news, the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality will immediately begin improving labeling goods and products, such as prepackaged foods and goods, aerosol liquids, and tobacco products. Financial Services Minister Hope Strawn confirmed that these upgrades, which come from customer demand nationwide, will ease consumers' concerns for knowing what their food and non-food products contain and restoring confidence and transparency in the food system. And in international business news, the U.S. economy grew 2.3% in the 3 months to June. It's the first estimate of growth in the second quarter, following an upwardly revised growth rate of 0.6% in the first 3 months of the year. The U.S. Commerce Department said growth was boosted by increased consumer spending and cheaper fuel prices. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Janita Swing.
The camaraderie here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas has taken to a new level today. As a part of the in-house competition here at the Broadcasting Corporation, the white team, I don't know where they got this name from, but they call themselves White Lightning. Clearly, I'm not a part of the white team. Never want to be a part of the white team. They supposedly dazzled the competition with an awesome, supposedly, entry. Keeping with its color, though, the team entered the gates of the corporation in a white carriage with no horses, followed by a limousine carrying employees dressed in all white. Horse and carriage whip Neil Benjamin put on quite a performance, I guess, while Brother Vaughn Miller on the back of the chariot wooed the crowd as the sounds of trumpets signaled the start of what they called showtime.
And showtime it apparently was. The team entered the corporation on a layer of white carpet with pedal droppers leading the path. They were also greeted with much cheers from other competing teams, Blue Team who looked on in awe. The grand entrance was followed by a scrumptious meal, and in the spirit of good camaraderie, we say well done to the white team. Well,
I mean, took them a while. They finally got it together.
Yeah, from the ancient. I don't know where they were hiding all this time, but I guess they.
Good job, white team. Thank you for joining the party. I don't know how did that get in there? That's what I want to know.
I don't
Gold
know.
team, blue team.
I think maybe red team.
We'll have to figure this one out.
Okay, well, Family Island News is straight ahead, brought to you by BTC.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
They may be in temporary accommodations, but it's business as usual at the Exuma Straw Market. In tonight's BTC Island Connection, Keith Shadley tells us how the company is ensuring that they stay in business.
Walking into the Exuma Straw Market is a shopping adventure.
That's nice. How much are these?
Here, the bags of goodies include bracelets, character bags, and unique pieces like this.
Mix and match. So that's a charm.
This is a charm, yeah.
That's
and this
gorgeous.
is 1, 2, 3. That's 4 different colors mixed together. Well, actually, it's put together with the hot glue, and then in Varatex secures it.
Okay.
And then you do the wrapping afterward.
It wasn't too long ago that a fire wiped out the inventory of these vendors. But since then, Lillian McKenzie says they've relied on the kindness of strangers.
Okay. People give us things. People from all over. Nassau, all over. What I have, people give. Yeah.
They're gestures that Yvonne McKenzie, who is chairman of the Straw Market Association, appreciates too, even though she's looking forward to a permanent home.
Yes, we are. Sooner than later.
But in the meantime, they've been able to maintain some valuable connections via BTC, as Exuma Administrator Neil Campbell explains.
As we saw the tourists who were able to use their credit cards and everything else, and after inquiring further, we found out again that BDC, what do you say, BDC done it again or whatever, and they really reached out to the straw vendors and they assisted them further, and I think that they are very, very grateful.
Sherry Adderley is looking forward to building on her straw craft business, but wasn't too busy to stick a pin in her schedule for a brief lesson.
I want to try it, but I don't know if you like the results.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, you get it.
Perhaps by the next visit, she and her colleagues will be making all the connections they need from a permanent home. Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.